Hey everyone, how we doing? So, welcome, happy Labor Day. Wherever you are, probably happy Labor Day. Listen, if you're, this is a bonus episode for the podcast. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, it comes out on the Tuesday. If you're watching it on the video on our YouTube channel, it comes out on the Monday. Either way, it's coming out the first week of September. So today, we're trying to, we didn't have any bonus episodes. We had one in August, right? That was comic artist Paul Thomas. And so now we are going to have them again for this month anyway. So I'm going month by month. I haven't decided how we're going to do it best. But this month, we're going to theme them with what we've got. So today, we are going to talk about improving your self-confidence, your self-worth. And this is one of the things that all of us struggle with. And as I've been in business, I've noticed that more people struggle with this than we think because Facebook shows everything as being perfect in the world, and we all know that's not true. And it doesn't seem to really matter which level of business you're at. You could be at a level where you're very successful, maybe you have lots of money, maybe you have whatever you are looking for as far as goals and dreams, and still not be happy inside. And then there's some that don't have any of those stuff, that we're still struggling, we're still working towards our goals and our dreams, but we're very happy. And so I always wonder what's the difference, and there's been a lot of suicides happening lately with stars that have plenty of money and all the things that they want. So I don't believe that those trappings are what we want to have in life. I think it's different for everybody. For me, I'm not about having, a truck full of money, although I would love more money. But that's not my goal in life. My goal is to be doing what I like to do, be able to make enough income to do things that I enjoy and live properly and pay all my bills. But I really am more about fulfilling and doing things that I love. And so hopefully you're the same way too. And so today we are going to just talk about some of the things that I found out. And I've made a big switch. To tell you the truth, I've suffered from this since I was a kid. So this is pretty revealing stuff that I'm putting out to you. I have struggled with self-talk and stuff since I was a kid. And a lot of it comes from not being educated enough. As you probably know, if you know my story, I'm the high school dropout. And sometimes that can be a very, you never feel that you're good enough to all those people that have gone on to further education. I've always had jobs which were considered to be, I'm not going to say unworthy, because that's not true, but jobs that, most people fall into when they don't feel like going to school or don't feel like doing something else. And I find that's really wrong, because what I found through doing those jobs is that the people who think about it like that are the people that probably couldn't handle those jobs if they had to do it. And for those of you who know that my background's in the trucking industry, I drove transport trucks for 25 years, and now I'm an artist and podcaster and consultant, all these things that I do, speaker. All of them, I found out along the way, they taught me so many things out of doing those jobs. And so people look down at the trucking industry. Well, I've had a wonderful career, and I know amazing people in the industry that are doing really well. Same with artists. A lot of people look at artists and go, you people, you don't make money, you're flighty. Well, some are like that, but I tell you what, I know a ton of artists who are making really good money. They're excellent at what they do. They have all of the business skills and acumens they're supposed to have, and they are going forward. So I don't think you can put everybody in one bucket and call it, this is what everybody is. I think you can't just, it's like they say, you can't judge a book by a cover, and that's totally true for careers, business, anything like that. You cannot go by what you just see on the outside or what people just share, because inside a lot of people are doing a lot of struggles. So some of the things that I found that are really helpful for me as far as trying to cut out the self-talk, and I'm going to tell you that self-talk and stuff like that is a big career. It's a long time career. It's not something that you can just decide that you're going to do it now and it's better tomorrow. People struggle with this. A lot of the big name stars struggle with this, and it's a lifelong thing. But one of the things that I found out is and I'm really negative on myself, and a lot of people are, and I've heard this on other podcasts too, where people go, I would not talk to anybody else the way that I talk to myself. And it's totally true. The one thing you have to do is you want to have to start catching yourself if you're doing any negative talk. Now, part of that is because, for me, part of that was my background. I'm colored, you can tell by the video, and this isn't just a tan, although I have been golfing a bit lately. Anyway, it's not just a tan. I'm brown. We were considered brown. I don't consider myself black the way you would like an African American, because my parents are Guyanese, and we were considered brown because we're colored with so many different people inside us. So I was taught to be as brown, but still, when you grow up in Canada in the 60s and 70s, there wasn't a lot of us. And, I got some teasing for that. And my way to combat that, so I didn't have to fight with every single person on the planet, was to develop a kind of a humorous side to it, and make jokes of it. And that's fine. I still love it. The people that said a lot of those things actually respect me for the way that I was able to take a joke. But inside it was hurting. So one of the things you have to watch, and I still do it today because I have no problem making fun of myself. That's what I do. And I actually don't take myself that seriously when it comes to that. I take myself seriously in certain areas, but not when it comes to that. So the one thing you want to do is shut down that negative talk. So if you find yourself doing it all the time, and depending on how you're doing it, if you're doing it as part of a presentation or something like that to break ice, that's one thing. If you're doing it when no one's around and you're getting down on yourself, that's another thing. So shutting out that negative talk is one of the things we want to do. Second thing is listen to positive stuff that you believe in, that you actually truly believe in. So don't follow other people just because you see their status in life as this. That can actually be one of the worst things. I found in my businesses, every time it's succeeded is when I've kind of said, you know what, I'm not following all the other people the way they say to do it. I'm going to do it the way I feel it should be done, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And when I've done it that way, I've always been successful. So be careful where you what am I trying to say? Where you get your information. And that includes me. If you think I'm a load of crap, hey, there's other podcasts. You don't have to listen to this one. But hopefully you're enjoying the information. I'm trying to give you something of value. And then the last piece is to believe that you are as equal as everybody else. And if this is, again, a very hard thing to do, but we need to actually stop and say, yes, I am as good as the next person, no matter how much money they have or whatever that is. So this podcast, a lot of the interviews we've had on this podcast inspire me to think that way, inspire me to change. I know one of the good ones was Rich Redmond, who was on this podcast, and he said, you know what, Bruce, no matter how famous somebody is, and he's a drummer for some of the most famous bands in the country music genre, he says, you know what, Bruce, no matter how famous they are, whether they're Garth Brooks or Jason Aldean or whatever, they still poop and pay taxes. And I thought that was very fitting. So, hey, join us on Thursday. We're going to be talking to Andrea Waltz, and Andrea Waltz is an expert in rejection, how to handle it, how to make ourselves feel better. That's Thursday's episode. Make sure you join us on the Cashing In on Creativity podcast.com. Hey, folks, see you later. I hope that was helpful. Talk to you next time. Bye for now.